Hey YouTube, this is PrimetimePokemon. In this video, I'll be reviewing and then giving away the Ocean's Core Primal Clash theme deck. This is a water and fire type theme deck that features Kyogre. So I'll turn it over here and read the back, what it says, and then you can see what you get inside here and the cards on the inside. Then I'll go through and review all the cards in the deck, and then at the end of this video, lay out the rules to entry for the giveaway. So it says, opposites working together create a furious maelstrom. The Ocean's Core theme deck brings together the raging ocean cyclone of Kyogre and the blazing inferno of Combustion. Thanks to its growth ancient trait, Whiscash can power up fast to unleash a fearsome earthquake, while Milotic uses Aqua Swirl to put your opponent's big attackers on the bench. So take a shot with this medley of fire and water, because when the ocean burns, nothing can stop you. And then inside the deck, you'll have the 60 card deck, card checklist, metallic coin, playmat, code card, deck box, and damage counters. And then right here are all the cards that you'll get on the inside. So I'll open it up here, and I did open the deck already just so I could sort the cards out. I believe decks are $11.99 in stores. Here are the damage counters, burn, and poison marker. Here is the checklist of Primal Clash, the playmat, coin, looks like it features Primal Kyogre on it. Get a good shot of it here. There is one holofoil Kyogre card, normally a non-holo rare card. And then here is the code card that unlocks this deck for the online TCG. Okay, now I'll go through each of the cards. And inside there's a deck box that I can store the cards in. Pretty neat looking, nice artwork on it. Okay, so first, there are two Kyogres, and the one was that holofoil you just showed. Here's the other, 130 HP, 4 colorless energy retreat cost, so a high retreat cost. It does have 2 moves. Spring Tides does 30 damage times the number of heads you get when you flip a coin until you get tails. And then Ocean Cyclone does 80 damage for 4 energy cards. And this attack does 10 damage to each of your opponent's best Pokemon. So if you wanted to pull this Kyogre card out of this theme deck and put it in a spread damage type deck, it would work well. Not too big of a fan of Spring Tides unless you attach a Trick Coin Trainer to this card. Then you have 2 chances at flipping a coin until you get tails, because Spring Tides may end up doing 0 damage if you get a tails right away. So 2 Kyogre. Then there is a 4-2-1 line of Spheal, Celio, and Walrein. Spheal, basic Pokemon, 70 HP, so above average HP. Only one move called Ice Ball. It does do 20 damage for 2 energy cards, so a little bit slower basic Pokemon, but not too bad of one. You could easily start the game with this card. It does have a higher retreat cost, so you may want to try and evolve Spheal right away. Okay, so 4 of those. Next up is Celio, and there are 2 Celio, 90 HP, so average HP. 2 moves. Freezing Headbutt does 30 damage for 2 energy cards, plus it paralyzes the defending Pokemon if you get a heads when you flip a coin. And then Aurora Beam does 50 damage for 3 energy cards. So this card is a little bit below average stage 1 card, so I like Spheal quite a bit. Celio, not that much, but there is a stage 2 evolution in Walrein, and you could always put another Walrein in here if you like. 150 HP, so high HP. 2 moves. Knockover does 50 damage, plus you may discard a Stadium card in play. And then Frozen Splash does 70 damage for 4 energy cards. And it says if your opponent's active Pokemon is fighting Pokemon, this attack does 70 more damage, so it could do up to 140 damage per 4 energy cards. So a pretty powerful Pokemon card right here. I'd say average line overall. Not that impressed by Walrein, but if you're going against a fighting type deck, this card would be very important to have. Next up, there's a 2-1 line of Barboach and Whiscash. Barboach, 50 HP, so a little bit lower HP. Does have a good move though, requires 2 energy cards, just like Spheal does, but it does do 30 damage instead of 20. So a good basic Pokemon card, just a little bit slower. And then Whiscash, it has an ancient trait up there that I can read. It's called Growth. It says when you attach an energy card from your hand to this Pokemon, you may attach 2 energy cards. So that's a good way to level up this card, or not level up, but get energy cards on this card quite quickly. And you're going to need quite a few energy cards on this card because the first attack requires 3 energy cards and the fourth requires 4. Water Gun does 40 damage, so it's not that great of a move, but Earthquake does 120 damage for 4 energy cards. However, this attack does 20 damage to each of your own bench Pokemon. So you're going to have to watch out for that or not have many Pokemon on your bench when you use this card. Another thing you want to watch for is it requires 4 colorless energy cards to retreat. So Earthquake, good move. You just don't want to have many Pokemon on your bench at the time that you use that move. Next up, there is a 2-2 line of Mudkip and Marshtomp. They don't have the final evolution in that line. You could easily put that in this deck if you'd like. But Mudkip, 60 HP. This is a very solid basic starter type Pokemon. 2 moves, one does 10, the other does 20, and it has a low retreat cost. So this is definitely the best starter type Pokemon I've seen so far in this deck. So a 2-2, and then Marshtomp. And Marshtomp, 90 HP, so a good HP for stage 1. A little bit higher retreat cost. It does have 2 moves, Mud Slap and Endeavor. Both are actually pretty good moves. Endeavor could do below average damage, but more than likely it'll do average to above average damage for only 3 energy cards. So I like this line quite a bit. You could always put the final evolution there and finish off the line. Okay, next up, there's a 2-1 line of Phoebus and Milotic. Phoebus, extremely low HP, so if you're going to use Milotic, you're definitely going to want to set this card up on the bench. Float On is the only move that Phoebus has, and it does 10 damage. However, if you flip a coin and get tails, Phoebus does 10 damage to itself, so you definitely want to avoid using this card in the active Pokemon spot, just like a Magikarp. Milotic is usually a bit better. Take a look here. Has 110 HP, so above average HP for a stage 1. Its ability is called Sparkling Ripples, and it says when you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon, you may put a card from your discard pile into your hand. So not a bad ability. It only can be used once though. And then Aqua Swirl requires 3 energy cards and does 60 damage. And it says you may have your opponent switch his or her active Pokemon with one of his or her bench Pokemon. So that would work well if you go with the theme of a spread damage type deck. You could use Kyogre's Ocean Cyclone attack, and then Milotic. You could move in with Aqua Swirl, something that has a little bit less damage, or you'd at least hope your opponent could do that has some damage already on it, and then possibly knock that Pokemon out the next turn. Okay, next up here is a 2-2 line of Horsea and Seadra, just like the Mudkip Marshtomp line. This one does not include the final evolution in Kingdra. So Horsea, like I said, 2-2 line. Horsea, 60 HP, only 1 move called Bubble. And it says to flip a coin if heads, your opponent's active Pokemon is now paralyzed. So this is another basic Pokemon you probably want to get set up on the bench and evolve it into Seadra. Seadra does have 80 HP, a little bit lower. 2 moves though. Knockout Needle does 10 damage for 1 energy card plus 40 more damage if you flip 2 coins and get 2 heads. And then Water Gun does 30 damage for 2 energy cards. So this is an average stage 1 Pokemon card. Like I said, definitely try and get Horsea evolved into Seadra, possibly into Kingdra on the bench. Next up, we're going to go into the fire type Pokemon of this deck. So Torchic here. There is a 2-2 line of Torchic and Combuskin. Same thing, no Blaziken in this deck, you could always put it in there. So there's Torchic, HP of 60, and Ember does 20 damage for 1 fire energy card. And it says flip a coin. If tails, discard a fire energy attached to this Pokemon. So not the greatest of first moves there on Torchic, but we'll see what Combusken looks like if Torchic is good in this deck. There's Combusken, a little lower HP again, so Seadra and Combusken both have low HP. This move, or this card, does have pretty good moves though. Quick Attack does 20 damage plus 20 more damage if you get a heads when you flip a coin, and then Spiral Kick does 30 damage for 2 energy cards. So I do like both Seadra and Combusken quite a bit. They're pretty similar. Stage 1 a little bit lower HP. They have low retreat costs, but they can do a fair amount of damage pretty quickly. Next up, there are 3 Vulpix. And Vulpix, another basic Pokemon, 60 HP. 2 moves that both require 1 energy card. Gnaw does 10 damage, and Roar allows you to make your opponent switch their active Pokemon with one of their bench Pokemon. So it goes with the theme of spread damage. Kyogre, Vulpix, that type of thing that can move Pokemon in and out from the active Pokemon spot. Same with Milotic. That's it for the Pokemon. Just to review there's not really anything that stands out that much. Kyogre is definitely the best card in my opinion. Walrein could do a ton of damage against a fighting type opponent. Whiscash, with that ancient trait, seems like a good card, but really the energy cards required to use any of those moves really wipe out the ancient trait on that card. So not overly impressed with the Pokemon in this deck. I definitely consider putting in like a Swampert, a Kingdra, or a Blaziken. Adding a couple more stage 2 cards to this deck would make it a lot better. So now on to the trainers. There are 2 Acrobikes in the deck. Acrobike, it says to look at the top 2 cards of your deck and put one of them into your hand. Discard the other card. Not a big fan of this card. I'd rather be able to look at the top 2 and just take those 2. So basically draw 2. Evo Soda. There is just one of these, and it says to search your deck for a card that evolves from one of your Pokemon and put it onto that Pokemon. Shuffle your deck afterwards. So if you did include more stage 2 cards, this trainer card would be that much better. And I'd probably include another 1 or 2 Evosodas in the deck. Next is a new trainer card, Fresh Water Set. Just one of these. It says heals 20 damage from each of your Pokemon. So that would work out if you wanted to use the move that does damage to all of your Pokemon, and I believe it is called Earthquake on Whiscash. It does 20 damage to each of your bench Pokemon, so you could do Earthquake here and use Fresh Water Set after. So I definitely want to include more Fresh Water Set trainer cards if you wanted to use Earthquake quite a bit. So just seeing this trainer card makes Whiscash that much better. Now there are 2 Professor's Letters, and it says to search your deck for up to 2 basic energy cards, reveal them, and put them into your hand. So, for example, Whiscash needs a lot of energy to attack, same with Kyogre. This is a good way to get energy cards into your hand. Okay, next up is Professor Birch's Observations, just one of these. And it says to shuffle your hand into your deck and flip a coin. If heads, draw 7 cards. If tails, draw 4 cards. So basically it's a recycled trainer card. Not a bad one. I'd probably replace that one with another Evosoda or Professor's Letter, or even a Fresh Water Set. Next up is a stadium card called Rough Seas. Only one of these. It says once during each player's turn, that player may heal 30 damage from each of his or her water Pokemon and lightning type Pokemon. So this would work because we have a majority water type Pokemon in this deck. Second to last trainer card is Switch. It just allows you to switch your active Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon. So for all those Pokemon with higher retreat costs like a Marshtomp, Whiscash, Kyogre, you can easily retreat those cards for free. Next up, Teammates Trainer, and it says only one of these. You can play this card only if one of your Pokemon was knocked out during your opponent's last turn. Search your deck for up to 2 cards and put them into your hand. So let's say one of your active Pokemon gets knocked out. You have to put the only bench Pokemon you have into the active Pokemon spot. You might want to play this card the next turn, and then you can easily fill your bench. I was mistaken. Teammates wasn't the last trainer card. Tierno is, and it just says to draw 3 cards. There are 2 Tierno cards. I definitely like this card better than the Acrobike. I'd definitely replace the Acrobike with this Tierno supporter. The only thing is supporter cards, you only can play 1 per turn. Trainer cards, you can play as many as you'd like per turn. Okay, now we're on to the energy cards. 6 fire, 12 water for a total of 18. So just to summarize the trainer cards, I really do like Fresh Water Set and how well that works with Whiscash. And then Evo Soda is pretty good. I'd include some of those. And then Tierno is also a very good supporter card. So overall, I'd say about an average deck. It doesn't blow me away. I was a little bit disappointed with the Pokemon cards in the deck until I looked at the trainer card, and Fresh Water Set, like I said, really makes Whiscash that much better. I'd include a couple of more Fresh Water Set trainer cards, probably 2 Whiscash, possibly another Kyogre card. I definitely think about including some stage 2 cards like a Kingdra, a Swampert, or a Blaziken. But really, if you're just a beginner playing the TCG, what I would recommend is just play with this deck for a few days or a few tournaments, that type of thing, see how it is, and then make some improvements little by little. So that concludes the review section of this deck review and giveaway video. Now to the giveaway part. Basically all you have to do to enter this giveaway is you have to subscribe to my YouTube channel, like this video, and then just say what your favorite card from this theme deck is. Once you do that, at the end of the month, I will be messaging the winner. I'll select a winner using a random number generator on the comments on this video. So for complete rules to entry, please read the description of this video. But good luck to everyone. Thanks everyone for watching. Make sure before you go to check out all the links in the description of this video, including links to my blog, Facebook, and Twitter pages. And if you want to see more theme deck reviews, I've reviewed all of the decks in the past in my theme deck review playlist, and I'll be reviewing the Earth's Pulse theme deck next month. So thanks everyone for watching, and stay tuned for more videos. Thank you.